You might be wondering, Ellen, how did you fracture your ankle? Well, it was the worst thing ever. Anyway, so I went out for my first pint, and I'm like, Ellen, what? That, that was just rude. There's no. He just flew away. I'd be wondering, Ellen, you're Irish. You must have had a pint before, and you're 19. Well, surprisingly, I hadn't. And for one reason is that I don't like the taste of it. And what, like, I mean, first pint doesn't mean, like, I haven't gone out to a pub and, like, had a pint before. We'll lead back into the ankle thing anyway. So we're going to a different pub because apparently they had a better pint for cheaper. And I was like, all right. I think the excitement of having my first pint was a bit much. So there was a wall between us and the new pub because we took the scenic route, which, you know, I wasn't okay with, to be honest with you. And then alright, so, like, to give context, this wall had, like, those 4 pokey things, like a castle. And I got my right foot up just fine. Got my right foot up, and then my left foot was going over, and he got caught in between all of them and pulled. Yeah, and then I landed on I had my big ass jacket in my bag, so I was fine. I landed on that. And the people I was there with kind of had me half convinced it was a rolled ankle, because I've never had, like, an injury like that before. Like, I've never been, like, injured before. You know? Never had a bloody nose or a broken bone. I guess you can count, you know, a fracture as a broken bone. It just kind of depends on your point of view. Anyway, so after that, I got a taxi home. Really nice taxi guy. Except he was listening to very orchestraic music on the way home that made me feel like my anime ending was was happening. And I was like, alright, well, you know, might as well. Every bump he hit on the way home, my foot was in pain. And I kind of realized I kind of realized then I didn't just roll my ankle. I had a really nice train trip up, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. A very nice train trip. Anyway, so I get home. My nana's there. I'm like, might have hurt my ankle. She brings me to the ER, the A&E. I'm sitting there in the A&E. For my American watchers, it's the ER. But I'm sitting there for 9 hours. They told me at the start. They told me at the start that there was 4 people ahead of me, and I was like, okay, fine, that's all right. I'm pretty sure people will have, more, severe injuries than me, so I was kind of fine with that. And then I was sitting there for like 9 hours in the worst pain of my life with my foot on the floor. And, I kind of gave up. I called my grandmother to come pick me up and bring me home. I ended up going to a clinic later that day. And it took me 1 hour to get seen by a doctor, and then another hour to get an x-ray, and then an hour to get a boot. And it made me reflect on my time in the A&E, because what were they doing? I was sitting there in the worst pain ever, and they're like, yeah, this guy with a headache, he's going ahead of you. You don't need nothing. Your ankle's on the floor, you're fine. So the x-ray gets back from this clinic place I went to. There's 2 shaven off bones on the corner of my ankle, and 1 in the middle of my ankle. There's just a divot there now. There's a bone missing. Where'd it go? I don't know. They didn't seem very concerned about it. No, they didn't. I was like, where'd it go? And they're like, you had a bone there? Anyway, that wasn't like the worst first, I feel like I was in like an advertisement for like anti-alcohol that whole day. Anyway, so I ended up getting a boot, and now I can walk on it, kinda, but in the morning it's awful. End of Llewellyn story time. Well, Finn at the end, not Finn the person, Finn the stuff they put at the end of old movies. Yes, we're doing old movie style, yeah. I've hit the end recording button 4 times.